All right, so let's start. Once again, I would like to ask you to mute your microphones. There will be enough time at the end of the webinar for questions, so then you can unmute it. And this webinar will be recorded. I'm recording already, and I hope I will manage to send you both the slides and the recording to your email, and I hope I will be able to upload it to our website as well. So welcome. My name is Pavel Miller. I am a ServiceNow consultant, and I'm focused mainly on ServiceNow integrations, and I am a product manager and SnowMirror consultant of our SnowMirror product. So this time we will be talking about the new backup features we are introducing, and basically this is the agenda for today. This webinar is planned for 1 hour. I hope we will manage to make it shorter, and there will be some time at the end for the questions and answers section. I would like to begin with some overview what ServiceNow is actually doing for us in their data centers and how the backup actually works on their side, at least the public information. Then I will talk about some causes of data losses and some motivation why you should back up the cloud data. So what is the reason to back up this software as a service data? Then what options you actually have if you decide to back up the ServiceNow data. And then there will be the introduction of our new SnowMirror Backup module, especially including the live demo. So I will try to show you how to back up individual ServiceNow tables, how to select columns, data formats, retention, etc. And then at the end, I will restore a table from one of the backups we make together of one table. So first of all, I would like to say that ServiceNow is doing a great job for us in their cloud environment. They call it ServiceNow Advanced High Availability Architecture, and I would recommend you, if you are interested, to read about their environment in a data sheet they provide. So these pictures are actually taken from the data sheet. Thank you, ServiceNow. And I don't want to go into big details here, but what ServiceNow is doing, the production ServiceNow instance always runs in 2 data centers. So there's always high available solution with let's say disaster recovery. One data center is waiting to be activated if necessary. And from the data perspective, as you can see on the picture, they are having a MySQL database in a read-write mode, and there is a near real-time replication to the second data center, the regional data center. So typically the data is available in both locations, almost real time. So the data is typically very safe. If anything happens, the second data center takes over. The data center are distributed in several regions. So I think this is a great achievement. And each database is being backed up inside its own data center. So the backups is happening in the data center on the disks, no tapes involved. So this is very good. How they actually do the backup policy. So what is the ServiceNow data policy? At least this is the public information. ServiceNow provides backups every day. So the backup is happening inside the data center, so it's not being copied out of the region or something like that. And they are doing a weekly full backup. So there is a full backup every week, and then every day there is a differential or incremental backup happening on the database. Only the whole instance is being backed up. And ServiceNow is keeping 4 full backups to the past. So basically, they are keeping 28 days of the backups for us. So if there is a need to recover the ServiceNow instance, you have to ask your ServiceNow support through Hi Portal, and so now the limitations start to appear. So ServiceNow is always recovering only the whole instance. So even if you tell them that you have some data issues, they start the recovery process, and it typically takes several hours. For bigger instances, in our experience, it even takes several tens of hours. So it's not an instant process, and it really might take some time for you to recover from such a disaster, or if you want to recover. Of course, in such a situation, the instance is not available, and if you created or some data from the last backup, of course the data is getting lost. That would be the default behavior. Of course, we know many cases where ServiceNow support is doing many great things, such as they are trying to use one of the sub-production instances during the restoration, and they are trying to many things. But still, the restore process is very similar to instance cloning, and you should understand how it works and what are the limitations. Especially, there is no partial restore available. So if you decide that you want to restore only configuration database, there is no way how to do it. So this is the limitation, and these limitations are typically what we want to address, or there is a real need. So what is the motivation to actually start thinking about backing the data from your ServiceNow instance? This is, in our experience, 5 reasons or 5 causes of data loss. So number 1 would be accidental delete. Simply someone with power user permissions makes a mistake and deletes several records or attachments, or he or she makes a mistake and the data is gone. Of course, not talking about some malicious employee which deletes, all of the HR data before leaving the company. That still might happen. Another experience is that if there is a power user and he or she, again, importing some data into ServiceNow, the data import might get wrong. The import might corrupt your configuration database, your asset management, or any other data. The third experience is that there might be a bug in some script, in some business rules or import scripts or discovery automation or something like that, again corrupting the data, etc. Integration is a similar case. Integration with SAP, integration with Salesforce, many other integrations. This is a piece of software containing bugs, and it might happen that the integration scripts are simply corrupting the data you need every day. And the last one would be, I would say, it's admin errors or administrator mistakes. Someone is trying to do something good, some bulk data update or improving anything, and then it goes wrong and data is gone again. So the message is that ServiceNow is protecting you from their failures. What happens if the data center is flooded or if they make a mistake? On the other hand, you are not protected from your mistakes. So this is the message. I even have a quote from a Forrester report saying that you have to remember that a few years ago we were really having standard best practices how to back up our on-premise systems. We had backups on several places. We had many policies. Yet these days, many companies simply send critical data into their Salesforce instances, Office 365, ServiceNow, Workday, and they are not using the backup best practices anymore. So Forrester or Gartner, they say that we shall back up our cloud data anyway and use the best practices again. And moreover, there are other challenges. Our experience again is that many companies have different, for example, data retention policies. So ServiceNow is keeping only 28 days of the data, but what if the policy is to keep 1 year of the data, right? What if the policy requires to store the data on-premise, for example, in some countries? Or we work with many companies from financial sector or from government, and these sectors require business continuity plans. These plans, what if there is no ServiceNow anymore? They have some compliant requirements and so on. And there might be any other reasons why you might need the data on a different place than in ServiceNow. For example, even our own consultants are using some backups if they are upgrading instances or applying major patches. I heard about several cases where an instance was being decommissioned or moved to another instance from organizational reasons, and you want to back up this old instance, or there is a split in a company and you have to separate data from either MSP or several countries or branches. These are the situations where you would like to load the data from ServiceNow and use it the other way. So what are the options you have, especially in ServiceNow itself? So there is what I call homegrown script option. Of course, you can use the out-of-the-box API, such as web services or REST, and you can write a script to load the data. However, from my experience, I wouldn't recommend you to going this way. It might be really much more complicated than you would expect. The maintenance cost, the development cost is high, and there is many ServiceNow corner cases and glitches, which requires a lot of effort, and ServiceNow is releasing every twice a year. So building a homegrown solution is not a good way to go forward. There is the ServiceNow ODBC driver, which might indicate that there is a good way to connect to the ServiceNow database and load the data from the database. But please note that the ServiceNow ODBC driver is just a wrapper around web services. So typically, this is not a real database access. So I cannot recommend you using the ODBC driver for backups anyway. There is a way how to manually export the data using the user interface. You can either export to XML or CSVs. Probably you know it from the list views or even from the individual records. But this is not a reliable, regular backup tool. This is a one-way shot. And actually, there is a new feature called scheduled exports. Surprisingly, not many ServiceNow users know about this I would say fair feature inside the ServiceNow platform. It is a new feature since Geneva, I think, and I think this contains several good options. And of course, we will be talking today about applying or using independent backup tool such as SnowMirror Backup. So I would say this is definitely the best way to go to have an independent tool doing what you really need. So once again, I would like to talk about the scheduled exports, because I think this is something that can be considered. Scheduled export is a ServiceNow native feature which allows you to configure full or differential exports into several formats such as XML or CSV. And I would say that the positive things is really that it allows you to configure unload of individual tables, and in a full or incremental way. There are some limitations about the exports, especially the scheduling, but still it's a full and incremental. The formats are, I think, fine. They are good. The great advantage is that it seems that the performance is good, because it has a great access to the underlying ServiceNow database, so the unload is happening fast, and there are several options to filter the data or perform some manipulation. So this is advanced, and the export is happening through a mid server, which means that the data is stored on premise in your data center. On the other hand, there are several cons. Number one would be this hasn't been designed as a real backup tool. So it's more an automated export than a real backup tool. There is, and this is being applied on a global level, there is a limit of 10,000 rows to export. To be fair, there is a way to increase it. There is a way to configure it. The question might be if your ServiceNow administrator would allow it. So this is the question to ask. There is no way to back up attachments actually. So especially in those cases where you need to back up your change management documents or HR documents, this is a really important con. As it is no backup tool, there is no retention policy or something like that. You have to do it yourself. The deleted records are not being reflected in the incremental load, the differential loads. And the most important, I would say, the biggest hurdle to use this as a backup tool is the lack of sysids, which which actually prevents you to perform the restores in a simple way, because there is no field which you can use to identify the records to update, actually. So then you have to start searching for business keys such as incident number or username and something like that. So this is, especially this con is the most important one. And the last thing is that there is no schema change. I would say this is a minor one. So basically, this is why we have developed our tool, our module, which is a new module to SnowMirror. This is SnowMirror is a proven replication tool. Our main use case is, as you can see on the picture, is to replicate the data into the mirror database, into the on-premise database, which is then typically used for reporting. You typically connect reporting solutions such as Tableau or Microsoft reporting services to this replicated database. We've been developing this tool since 2012. We currently have more than 60 customers, and we are a bronze technology partner, and the app is certified for the ServiceNow store. So this is our successful product, and since we are already downloading or replicating the data, we have decided to build a proper backup tool on top of this product. So we have a backup tool. As you can see, it is sitting in your environment, in your data center. So it is a replication agent which you install on one of your servers, and it is replicating the data onto your file system in your own data center. So the backups are created under your control on your disks in your data center. So it is not a cloud solution. It is an on-premise solution to be able to perform the backups in your premises. And how it actually works, it is very simple. You install SnowMirror agent on one of your small servers, either virtual server or a physical server. It contains a very small configuration database or even embedded database, and the data is the backups are being stored on a file system you configure. We are using the same replication algorithm as we use for the original SnowMirror replication tool. So we are using the out-of-the-box web services. There is no need to modify the ServiceNow instance. You just enter a username and password, and you configure it. You are able to back up the data. So it is very simple. As you will see, the tool allows you to select the tables you want to back up. You are able to schedule the replication. You can select the columns you need and many other things. So this is the way it works. And yeah, I would like to show you a very short demo. And the first use case is how to configure a backup of a single table. So the user interface you see here is the Snowflake interface. So this is the replication agent you have installed in your environment, and it allows you to configure the backup. So I will log in, and I will show you this screen, which is the most important one, and it is basically the list of the tables that are either being replicated or backed up. So for example, I am replicating incident, problem, user, and task tables into a database, and I am performing backups of my CMD BCI table, and I am replicating or backing up the attachments of the knowledge base. So you have a list of tasks or replication jobs that are being displayed here. You can see when is the next run, when was the last run, how long it took, and these are the numbers from the last run. So as you can see, for example, the task, there were 59 updates, or the CMD BCI downloaded two records. So now I will show you the backup feature, how to back up individual ServiceNow tables. So I will press this new synchronization button. And as you can see, we have several options here. I will select backup, not the replication, but backup. Some of our participants already have ServiceNow, so this is the new synchronization type for you guys. And as the first step, you select the table you want to back up. SnowMirror is reading the ServiceNow metadata, so all of the tables are here, including the custom tables. And I will select, for example, the asset management table. And in the second step, there is the most important field is the format. So in this case, I can keep the CSV, but we are supporting the native ServiceNow XML as well. I will show it in the second example. You can adjust the retention period. SnowMirror takes care about the removing of the old backups. And the most important here is to select the columns you really need for the backup. So you can back up, for example, asset tag or assigned or the cost here, and let's say display name. It filters the columns like that. So let's say I want to back up these 4 fields. I can count the records. This is just a demo instance. I will be backing up just 2,800 records. And the last step in the wizard is the schedule. So in this case, I can configure the incremental load, the differential one, and the full load. So for example, let's schedule the backup every day at 2 o'clock in the morning, and the full backup every week, every Sunday at 3 o'clock in the morning. So in this case, there will be an everyday incremental backup and every week the full backup, which might take a bit longer. So now I press finish, and I have the new backup job, which has been scheduled for tomorrow, 2 o'clock in the morning. And of course, I can trigger it manually. So for now, the full load or the full backup is happening, and it will download all of the 2,000 records. So let's wait a couple of seconds. And yeah, that's it. I have a folder here on my computer which contains backups folder. And as you can see, SnowMirror has created a folder for the table I'm backing up, and all the backups are stored as zip files, so it doesn't take that much space. And in this case, it contains the full backup of the ALM asset table. I can open the CSV, and as you can see, it really contains just the fields I have selected. So this is pretty much similar to the ServiceNow export. But now I can show you that. Let's go to ServiceNow, and I can modify some asset record. For example, let's modify this Apple MacBook, and now it will be more expensive. It will cost $200 more. So let's update this record. And in this case, SnowMirror, if you perform an incremental backup, I will perform an incremental backup right now. It will download just the changes, right? Just the modified records or the updated ones. So as you can see, now it really finished in 2 seconds, downloading just one record into a separate file. I can open the CSV, and as you can see, it contains the MacBook with the new cost. So this is an incremental backup, a differential backup, which happened after the changes. All right, so this is how it works, and SnowMirror is really just the backup tool. So currently it doesn't contain any restore feature because we really want the restore procedure to be under the full control of the ServiceNow administrators. ServiceNow contains really critical data with many relationships, so the restore procedure might be even more dangerous than the risks I was introducing. So really the backup has to be perfect, but of course then the restore has to be under full control. So I have prepared a very simple table for you, so it's pretty clear what happens. And I have created a separate table with just a few fields, so we understand how you can restore a backup which SnowMirror creates. So I have a candidate table. As you can see, I am applying for a ServiceNow position. I can go into a detail, and this is actually me. I can add some CV for me into the record. So this is actually me, just a few fields, and there is a couple of other records. So I will, first of all, I will create a backup of this table using SnowMirror, and then I will try to restore the backups. So when I make some changes, when I will try to pretend some data loss. So first of all, I can show you that again, I will create a new backup. I will try to find the candidates table as a first step. And in the second step, I will select the XML format. So this is going to be the version which is using the native XML format. And I will perform the backup. So no scheduling this time. I will just download the data. Create XML. We've got 4 records. Let's check it. So here we have the XML format. So as you can see, if you know the ServiceNow internals, this is the very same format as ServiceNow is using, and the records are being backed up. This is the very important field, the sysid. This is what the scheduled export is actually not doing. This one will allow you to import the data very easily back into the ServiceNow platform. So now we have the XML backup. Let's create the CSV backup as well. So we tried both restore types. CSV, I can download all the fields. Here I can select if I want to do just the sysids for the references or the display values, which is the ServiceNow default, or I can do both, which is much better. So I have even the primary keys, the foreign keys, and the display values in my CSV. And again, I will just download the data into a CSV file. So let's check it again. This is the CSV file. So as you can see, it contains, here are the names of the guys. Again, the important field is here. I do have the sysids, which is important if I want to import it easily back. And I can show you one more thing. If you want to back up the attachments, for example, in this case, this is some HR recruiting process. You can back up the attachments from the candidates table. Again, just perform it. This is something that the original ServiceNow tools do not offer. SnowMirror allows you to back up real files. So in this case, I will show you. It creates a folder for each of the records with attachments. In this case, it was display value of the record. And the files are real files, no data chunks or base 64 values. This is the real file which is stored onto a real file system. So this is what the SnowMirror Backup offers you. All right, so now we have the data backed up, both XML and CSV. And let's look at the restore procedure. So in this case, let's pretend I will create some data corruption. I will modify my own name, so it's wrong. I will delete one record, this one, Radek, will be lost. Let's wait. Let's lose one record. And let's create a new one. So there will be changes after the backup has been done. And we want to preserve these changes. So let's create an interview for this guy. Okay, so this is the data that is being corrupted. And imagine that someone has made these data corruptions back in November and ServiceNow doesn't have the data anymore. So you have to find out the backup and restore it. So you go into the files, for example, the XML first. You take the XML and you use the feature of ServiceNow, which is called import XML. Of course, I have to warn you here that this is a very low-level feature. So you are really importing the data without any business rules or anything. So you have to do this very carefully. But of course, it is possible to do it this way. So I can go into my file system, select the file, and perform the restore like that. Give it a sec. All right, so as you can see, it was successful because my surname has been fixed. That's cool. My colleague Radek is back again, and this guy, Joe Developer, remained here. No data duplication happened, so the restore was successful. So the existing records were updated back to the state in the time when I checked the backup. The missing records were inserted, and the records that were inserted after the backup stayed there. So let's do the same for the CSV, which is, I would say, a preferred way to do it because it is more safe and more under control. So let's create poor Radek again. Let's corrupt my data. And in this case, we will import or we will restore from a CSV file. So this is really something that should or could be recommended. Oh, not import. So let's use the import set features. Again, I would expect that most of you guys know the import sets very well. So this is a very standard way of importing data into ServiceNow. I have prepared this table just before this meeting. I have an import table for the candidates. Let's upload the data. I will unzip my backup like that. Load the data from a file. So the data is here, and I have prepared for you the transform map, which was very simple to create because the CSV file contains the headers, so it was really simple to create. So as you can see, it is a transform map transforming the data from the import candidate table into the candidate table. I use this automap matching fields to generate the list of the mappings. And the key thing here is that I am using the sysid to update the records. So I have the sysid available in my backup, and I can restore the data using the sysid easily. So the existing records will be updated, the missing records will be created. Again, very simple. I can perform the transform. So using, let's see if it worked. Success. Let's check the table. And again, as you can see, my name has been fixed. Radek is back again. Joe has been preserved. So two ways of working with different data formats. The import XML features for ServiceNow administrators, for example, my colleagues, ServiceNow consultants, like this feature more. On the other hand, I would more recommend the standard CSV import, which is more under control. You can use your existing business rules. So this was the demo. My last slide is about how we actually sell the product. You can either use the SnowMirror Backup as a standalone product, as a standalone agent. which has some very similar conditions to the SnowMirror Lite edition. $10,000 for the first year, $5,000 for the renewals. The price includes our support, new versions, all the new patches we provide. The test and development instances are for free, or there is an upgrade available for our existing customers that can purchase the module separately, or they can upgrade this module. And basically the pricing is half of the price of the standalone. But of course, please contact us for the quote, because there are some modifications available for example, for the cluster deployment or some customizations, etc. So this is how we can purchase it, and I think we have enough time for the questions. So please go on if you have any questions.
I have a question, Pavel. This is Vlad. How do you restore attachments in the previous example that you gave?
Yeah, actually, we are having a script for that, or we are using some standard attachment creator feature in ServiceNow. To be honest, this is a bit more complex part, and I haven't included it into the demo because it would take more time.
Okay, but if in the case that we purchased the product and we're using it, and we do actually need to do a restore, and we have problems, we can call you for support?
Yeah, sure. To be more detailed, the XML format allows you to store the attachments. So if you are backing up into the XML format, it might include the attachments. If you are backing up onto the file system, as I was showcasing, then we have a way for you how to restore, and of course I can then support you.
Is there an easy way to dump the whole, to back up the entire ServiceNow instance with the product, not just select tables?
Actually, in this case, I would recommend you to use the standard ServiceNow cloning, right? Of course, you can select all of those 2,000 tables you have available in the ServiceNow instance, but this is more a tool for backing up business critical data. It doesn't really make sense to back up, the ServiceNow system tables. So this is about selecting the tables you really need for your business continuity plans or disaster recovery plans, and not all of the data available. Any other question?
Yeah, this is Atul. One question. Now, SnowMirror allows you to schedule for every 24 hours. We have a database where it is scheduled every 24 hours. Any plans on having more frequent? Because many times the way we have implemented is we use SnowMirror to not really back up the data, but provide the data to some other integrations, so they don't have to go to SnowMirror or to ServiceNow.
Yeah.
So the idea here was trying to get as close as possible to real time, but I'm not expecting so maybe more frequently that we can back up rather than every 24 hours.
Sure, I understand. This is definitely available. You can either select something like periodically, doing every hour, like 60 minutes, or we support the standard cron expression, which you know from the Linux environment. So yes, it is possible to set up a shorter period.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, any other question? So in any case, if there is no question, thank you very much for joining. I will send the slides to all of the registered attendees.
Pavel, I'm sorry, one more
I will
question.
send the recording as well.
Pavel, one more question. I'm sorry. What in terms of architecture for the standard edition, we just need how many servers do we need? 1 or 2? Like I think you mentioned application agent. Agent needs to run on an application server, and then a database is needed. Are those 2 different servers?
In order to run just the backup tool, you only need 1 server, which where you install the SnowMirror Backup agent, and that's all. The database I was mentioning on the slide is just used for configuration of, you know, the data you see here, what kind of tables, which columns, and how often to replicate. So it's a configuration. You just need 1 server, and that's it.
And what operating systems do you support for this?
This is a Java tool, so we support the operating systems supported by Oracle Java. So we support Windows, Linux, and Mac OS, and some others.
Got it. Thank you. Pavel, I'm sorry, one last question. Is there a possibility for a proof of concept if we need one?
Sure, please just go to our website. It is snow-mirror.com, and there is a free trial button. Please download the trial version. We would be happy to support you.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you again so much for your time, for joining, and I hope we can see each other at Knowledge 17 in Orlando. Talk to you soon, see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye. Porque a veces hasta los mismos del SOC lo contestan.